Yo, what's the word, man? Welcome to episode 2 of the Gotti Show. That's right. We're here on set of the KGS show. I'm coming live and in color from New York, man. You already know this is not your average show. This is where real talk lives. This is where we break down beliefs, arguments, wild takes, and all of the convos you'll catch in the barbershop, over lunch, chilling with your crew, hip hop, culture, industry moves, whatever's popping in the world. If it's got people talking, we're bringing it here, raw and unfiltered. All right, man. So this show ain't about playing it safe. It's about speaking your mind and standing on your square. So y'all already know what time it is. It's episode 2. It's time for the buzz brief. Let's do it. All right, man. So the pennies have officially been cut from being made, being produced, whatever you want to say. Donald Trump has decided that the last penny was printed as of November 12th, man, ending a 232-year tradition. 232 years. That is crazy. After 232 years, I just don't understand why you would interfere or why you would even break such a tradition, if that makes sense. And, with times we're supposed to grow, we're supposed to advance. But after 232 years, no president has ever focused on money or someone that was listed on a bill before them. Like, it's just a lot of undoing there. But, hey, do we even really respect the value of money these days? Like, do kids know the value of money? Because I think if I had kids right now, it'd be probably a really weird space because everything we do is Apple Pay. Like, when you walk into businesses now, they say Apple Pay preferred. So I think that for the young ones out there that's having kids, and I won't even say the young ones, like anybody out there having kids, I think that it'd be good if we still kind of get into the business of going to the ATM and getting some money out and handing it to the kid. Because I know when I was a kid, I used to get a $20 bill. I would take it to Walmart. Me and my cousin, shout out to Otis, we would go to Walmart and we used to have to go to the money thing, the money little center, and get all ones because we really value money. Now it's like, it don't really even matter. So I think that as we progress and we become the new adults, essentially, we have to keep the traditions going, because oftentimes things like this happen and it'd just be in the history books and it wouldn't be any kids that can really speak to it or attest to it. It'd just be like a lost art, if that makes sense. But speaking of the government and politics and things like that, I wanted to speak on Nicki Minaj. She spoke at the UN, the United Nations, the other day, in reference to the killing of Nigerians in Africa, man. So, a lot of people had a lot of things to say about Nicki going into the UN and working with Trump. Valerie was one that spoke out. It was a couple people that spoke out, but they were coming from it from a point of, well, Tamika Mallory was coming from it like, oh, you're going to have blood on your hands aligning with Donald Trump, this, that, and the third. But what I like to make clear is we need to be smart, or we need to fact check before we speak. Nicki Minaj from day one has made it very clear that this is not a thing about, choosing sides or picking sides in a political battle, because a lot of people are saying, why would you go and speak for Donald Trump? So I'm assuming that if it was a Democrat president in office right now, it would be okay for her to speak. But, all this is alleged news here with Gotti. But I just don't understand, why is it that when Nicki speak, it's a problem? When Trump says, went up there for the Kamala Harris campaign, and said certain things that didn't make sense. It was like, oh, salute, do, ooh, ooh, ooh. But now that Nicki is speaking up in the face of injustice, and she made it very clear that it's not about picking sides, it's about standing up for the face of injustice. In the face of injustice, I'm sorry. It's about standing up in the face of injustice. I think that we need to fact check before speaking, and just throwing our beliefs onto other people. We imagine if this world was one dimensional, where we all thought and spoke the same way. We all believed in the same thing. We all ate the same thing. That we can break it down as simple as this. If we all ate the same thing, there wouldn't be a variety of foods. There wouldn't be a variety of restaurants. There wouldn't be a variety of fast food chains. So to think that everyone has to think the same, or because you're an artist, you're a fan of an artist that you have to be in agreement with everything that they do. I think that we should look more so at the message than what political party it determines, because that's been a factor for a long time. And I know personally for me, my political views may not be your political views, and that's fine. That's why I think politics is a subject that you should be very careful when you have that conversation, if that makes sense. But, you know, man, Trump says, I'm gonna move on from that because I don't really like the politics game here. You know, everything is politicking, even down to a job. But, you know, BravoCon was the other day. Carrie Huger for Real Housewives of Potomac is back. She got out of jail from the DUI, did her time, and she returned to the stage. Kandi Burruss received the Lifetime Achievement Award. BravoCon happens. Let me just paint the picture for you here. BravoCon happens every 2 years. So the next one is scheduled for 2 years. So this year, recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award was Kandi Burruss. If you don't know who Kandi Burruss is, Grammy Award-winning songwriter for many people, Destiny's Child, TLC, and shout out to Tiny. I know a lot of people don't speak on Tiny, but Tiny also wrote on No Scrubs for TLC. Kandi has wrote for a lot of people. Pink, she's wrote for Boyz II Men. Kandi has wrote for a lot of people. Like, the list goes on and on. If you don't know who Kandi Burruss is at this day and age, or at this point, man, you need to go check it out. And y'all know I'm gonna always support Kandi. And I told her that I follow everything she do. Kandi already know I'm part of the family. Kandi know what's up. And I want to shout out to Kandi. You know, she's going through a divorce. News came out a couple days after BravoCon that, you know, she's divorcing, and she asked for privacy at this time as her and her family, you know, navigate a healthy relationship for the kids, and, you know, just what it is. So that's what it's going to be. I don't know why everyone had to make think pieces. And of course, you know, the Mama Joyce jokes came out over the years. You know, Mama Joyce was not a fan of Todd, and everybody's like, oh, you know, Mama Joyce has been right, this, that, and the third. But I feel like, hey, 11 years with 2 kids is not a failed marriage. Things just may have not worked out, whatever that may have been. She asked for privacy during this time. That's all you can give. I think Kandi has lived her life on TV for so long. So, you know, I'm sure that when the time is right, if she feels like discussing it, we'll hear about it. But until then, she's asked for privacy, and, you know, I think we should grant that. Now, on to some sports, man. Stephen A. Smith has been fired from the NBA Countdown. Now, Stephen A. Smith negotiated to leave the NBA Countdown because he wanted to focus on First Take. You know, a lot of other things that he has going on. It's been alleged that he's opening up his own production company. So it was put out yet again. This is another clickbait that Stephen A. Smith was fired from the NBA Countdown, which is totally not true. So I just want to cover that because I know that was a lot of talk like, oh, he always speaking on this, that, and the third. Look at him losing jobs, this and the third. Why are we celebrating when anybody lose a job allegedly? But luckily for him, that was not the case. He didn't lose the job. He negotiated that in his contract. And I think that we have to be smart when speaking. Now, today is Sunday. New Orleans Saints played the Falcons today. Falcons are playing down in New Orleans. I always love when those two people play because those two people, I always love when those two teams play because, you know, Drew Brees was the first jersey that I received. And I was like in 2002, Saints jersey was the first jersey that I can remember as a Jit getting. And then based off my family, you know, all Saints fans by default. But I love when they play the Falcons because Atlanta is kind of like home base for me. Like, Atlanta has been home for so many years, and I'm pretty much from Atlanta more than any other place that even from where I was born, where I lived after that. Like, most of my life I've been spent in Atlanta. So I'm kind of like a Falcons boy too. So it's always weird, man. So that's one. Another one that was going on tonight that I know a lot of people was talking about was the Cowboys game. I am taping currently right now, and both of those games are still going on, so I don't know the score. We can check in with that later. And that's supposed to be the game of the week this week is Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles, man. So ready to see that, ready to see what the outcome is. And moving on to some NBA news, man, John Morant and Klay Thompson. I know y'all see the situation with them little altercation, whatever you want to call it, back and forth on the court. I think it's funny that Klay spoke out about John Morant, basically quote saying he's a funny guy who rarely takes accountability. Now, here's my problem. Me and John Morant is the same age. We was born in the same calendar year of the lovely 1900s. So I really hate when people come at John Morant like he's this loose cannon or he is this hothead. Like, you got to understand age. You got to understand just the cockiness and the level of accessibility he has at his age, and he's just had for so long. So I mean, he really that guy, and you can't really be upset with that because you at unk status, Clay. Now, I ain't saying nothing, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Now, this next thing I want to talk about is ChatGPT. Now, we call it ChatGPT. I think it's pronounced ChatGPT, but we call it ChatGPT, you know, us folks. But I want to talk about this because I'm starting to see that a lot of people are losing self-expression due to ChatGPT. Now, before I talk bad about the platform, the app, or website, whatever we shall call it, I want to make a note that I think that it's a tool that you can use to your advantage if presented the correct way. But here's why I have a problem with it at. I think that we're losing the touch and seeing that, hey, you have to still create. You have to still create. Point blank in a period. We're now going to ChatGPT and letting them process all of our thoughts. We're letting ChatGPT pretty much detail everything for us. And I'll just point it out like this with social media, like on Instagram. If you ain't never been no journalist or no media personality or nobody that's like reporting on news or commentary, why do you now have paragraphs under your photos or whatever you post your content? You got paragraphs, and then in the paragraphs y'all leaving the ChatGPT marks. Like, ChatGPT basically like put colons in certain things that you know is ChatGPT. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Please stop acting like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. ChatGPT has its notifications and indicators. So if we're gonna use it, can we please at least remove that? Just please remove that, please. But what I will say, use it as a tool. Use it as a tool, not. Don't be making like the music. I heard. Let me fact check. Now, I believe this artist, and I just came across this music before getting here, is a ChatGPT artist. Like, the music is created from ChatGPT. I'm not too sure, but I want to double check. His name is Nick Hustles. It sounds like a old like blues type situation, but I noticed that it was very new. Like, I was like, this music just came out in November. So I want to figure out if he's a real person or not, which I know what he is, but I just want to fact check before I tell y'all anything. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. And how y'all been? Like, it's episode 2. Like, I'm back. We live and in color from New York. It ain't even been a month, and y'all back with episode 2. But it's gonna be more frequent than that. Y'all know my birthday month and everything like that. So I just wanted to take some time for me. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of a bad time to introduce episode 1 and then take a gap like that. But hey, yeah, Nick Hustles, a ChatGPT artist. So check out his music. But anyway, man, moving along to the next part of the Buzz Brief section. The Clover Boys has returned. And, you know, one thing that I think is their biggest, was the biggest thing, well, one of the biggest things, because they all are separate entities in their own right, but Punga and Dez has finally created their own page. I know how it is when it's two people, you know, just want to think differently or move different or having that individuality outside of it. Like, it's okay working with a team, but I think having individuality outside of that to make you bigger as one. If you're gonna be a team, I think that's important. But they have decided to, split that channel and create their own streams, what I think is great. Their promo was everything. It had Castanet written all over it. Castanet is still on the break from Mafia-thon. He haven't returned yet, but I do believe he gonna pop out in December. And we do know that Streaming University is coming back, but we know what time that will be, for 2026. But shout out to the Clover boys. They back on stream. Reggie back doing his thing. I be needing them Reggie quotes. And I didn't be needing them. It's just like Reggie is like that person that live inside your head. Like, it's like the things that I think Reggie say. Like, and he just said on video. So that's why I relate to Reggie so much. But, the other day, I seen something interesting, and it's moving along from the Clover boys. I want to kind of shift into some music. And I was on Instagram and somebody was like, what other artists do y'all listen to other than Gunna? Which is a great question, because as a male, it's okay to listen to female artists, but I cannot listen to that every single day. Like, I need some type of music that's gonna make me rock out and I can bop to, like, and I just haven't been getting that. Now, when it comes to Gunna, I don't think it's about, is that the only artist y'all listen to? I think what it is with Gunna is Gunna has dropped great bodies of work over the past, let's just say, 4-year span. Like, starting out with the album that had Bread and Butter on it, coming out to the album that is the latest one that came out this year. I feel like that album has a ton of singles on it that could have led his album in any way. Now, I do feel like Gunna has a large replay value. Gunna replay value is like unmatched. Gunna replay value is the way that we should focus on albums. Gunna replay value is the way that we should dissect music. I don't think we dissect music anymore. So to my point, I don't think is that we only listen to Gunna. I think what it is that person may just be seeing that, hey, everybody got a different Gunna vibe. Gunna make music for everybody. Like, each song has a different vibe, and it's not the same repetition like a lot of these artists are doing these days. Now, somebody else that dropped music that I will not let, like, we just gonna shit on, Offset dropped music. His lead single, on there, I would not want to say lead singles, but the ones that I like, two of my personal favorites, is going to be Hunted by Fame and then Different Species, which is, again, featuring Gunna. I think that we all know Offset. We have to respect Offset creativity as an artist, regardless of what goes on in these artists' personal lives. We have to respect the artistry, like Cardi B and Am I the Drummer album. That's a terrible way to throw that in next to Offset, but I enjoyed it. I didn't stream it at first because I wasn't going to support it during the streaming week. What's the word, YouTube? But I eventually listened to the album and I have found, some good songs on there. And I even said that on here, so I don't even know why I got to sit here and further explain it. Like, Offset, let Lee's tell it, is the Michael Jackson of the Migos, but I'm not going to say often, I've always said that it was Takeoff, and that was pretty much because of his vibe and his aura. Now, Offset, I will say, is number 2. Quavo is, for obvious reasons, the more sellable artist. Well, was the most sellable artist until I think people really put time into Offset and develop the artist development as a solo act. Now, I think Quavo just had the whole package because of his sound as an advantage. But Takeoff was always my favorite. R.I.P. Like, I was in Houston the night that happened. That's the last time I went to Houston. And I remember my friend waking me up telling me what had happened. But, rest in peace, Takeoff. Shout out to Offset. Like I say, Offset, Gunna, only 2 things I'm really vibing to right now. Herb, also. G Herb just dropped Lil Herb, man. And, it was him really tapping back into that old persona of the beginning days with the Lil Herb thing. And I think that we just have to give Herb his flowers of how long he's been able to dominate the game. Like, Herb has been hot since I was in middle school. I would say like the end of my middle school going into my high school years. That's when he first started to come out. But Herb has been hot over the years and has been able to stay consistent. Now, he recently got more shine with Went Legit, and that went number one. Shout out to Herb for number one with Went Legit. Now, the funny thing about Went Legit is I heard this song in December of last year, but the song wasn't able for me to post. I remember when I saw it because I was doing promo for Beyond the Fences. Y'all know I was in the all black. I did the promo for Beyond the Fences and I put Went Legit over my video on TikTok because I'm like, all right, I heard it, but it was never really nowhere else other than the place that I heard it. And if you're a Herb fan, you know what we heard, well, we can hear those things at those unreleased songs. So when I seen it, I immediately did a video and used the song. Now, it's just crazy that that was in March of this year. The song didn't really get traction until summer came around. So like May, June, and then, it just became the anthem and the song went number one. So shout out to Herb for that. And, we should check out that album, Lil Herb. I haven't been able to dissect the whole album just yet, but I do plan on doing that, man. So shout out to Herb. So Gunna ain't the only one out here, but it's very far and through of who's left. Like it's certain Moneybag songs that come on that makes me like irritated when the beat drop. And I fuck with Bag, but it's a few of his songs that's like I didn't heard too much. Even like Future, Fuck Up the Commas come on, and I'm ready to throw my headphones off. Like it's just certain sounds that has played too much, or we overheard that it's not even cool. Like I hate to hear it. It don't even sound like, damn, we really used to bop out to this. And maybe that is the reason because we heard it so much. Just like Dreams and Nightmares. I hate hearing Dreams and Nightmares. I don't even know why people in the club still go up. Maybe because they be intoxicated. People still go up in the club when that song come on. But that's another one. Like, we need these staples. The females have been running it for a while. And I've been saying it. Now, it's still the case. Like I said that like 2 years ago. I said that 2 years ago that the females was pretty much running the charts. And I don't know, not running the charts because let's not even talk about sales. Females were running the rap, shall I say. Not running the charts. They were running the rap. So yeah, I just feel like it is what it is. And I think that we have to stop dropping these albums because as we know, we keep going lower and lower and lower in the charting for rap and hip hop because the more albums that drop and don't sell, we tick down. Remember, we were number one drama. We were number one drama. We were number one genre. Remember that. Remember that. All right, man. So moving along from the buzz brief. Whew, we survived the buzz brief. It was a good buzz brief though. We talked about a lot. Discussed, got into some things. It was something for everybody, and that's one thing that I want to make sure happens here on the Kev Gotti show, where there is that sport talks, there is that pop culture talks. Like I want to make sure that is well rounded for everybody. So if we get to a part of the show where you feel like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, skip past. Don't exit out the video. Show love. Skip past, find you a section because there's something for everybody. Now, if you just, I got to ask Danny, is that my lint roller? Because I ain't seen my lint roller since I left here last time. And that's the blue lint roller. And I think it's mine. I ain't seen that lint roller. I've been looking for that lint roller. I got to ask my engineers about my lint roller. But no, yeah. Find your stitch, find your niche. It's a show. It's the Kev Gotti show. And we're live. Now, this next part, man, I got a guest coming out. And, we're going to get into some more things. It's the Kev Gotti show. Stay tuned. Yo, what's the word? Ooh, that boy clean. What up, YouTube? All right, let me call Lee's and prep him because he going to, this nigga. Yo. Oh, he said I got to hold it like this. This man knew. Yo, you ready? All right, I'm gonna call you in 2 minutes. I'm gonna call you on the iPad, so it's gonna probably be on audio. I'm gonna call you in like 2 minutes. All right. All right, man. Welcome back to the Kev Gotti show. So before the break, we discussed music that's out there. I discussed G Herbo. You know, we discussed ChatGPT. We discussed Nicki going to the United Nations. You know, BravoCon just wrapped up in Las Vegas. I want to spin the block a little bit on BravoCon. There was a lot of talks about one particular reality star that was not at BravoCon. I think that this conversation or topic come up every time there's a BravoCon, and anytime that person show that they used to be on comes up, this person trends. So you guys should know who I'm talking about, Nene Leakes. It was a big thing at BravoCon because Candy Bird's got the Lifetime Achievement Awards, and this is no diss to Candy. And this is why I wanted to bring it in at this part because I didn't want to, knock that while I was giving a buzz brief. But I do want to say that Candy came on season 2, Nene Leakes came on season 1. We do know Nene has not been, with the network recently, but I do want to give a little light and a little hope for the BravoCon in 2 years. I think that we don't have to diminish someone's light while they're getting their flowers just because someone else didn't get it. Though Nene Leakes is do everything that, we think she needed more. We have to realize that her network is not back in that place just yet. And I think it's great that Andy Cohen even said that they, text at BravoCon. Nene did the Carlos King thing and spoke and clarified what they were texting about, and just made it clear that they text months before. So I think that was a clear indicator like, hey, things are fine. And then also, man, the chairman of Bravo and Peacock, Francis Barrick, said the following when asked about Nene and the future on television. How about Nene Leakes? Is there ever a way back for Nene between Bravo and Andy Cohen? She responded, we've had Nene on red carpet shows for E. We've worked with Nene since then. All right. So they went on to ask, could she ever be on a show again? Do you think? Yes, she can be on the show again. So I think that at this point, can we just stop and just let it breathe? I think that it was evident that Nene was able to come back once she was on that first E carpet. And I think that was 2 years ago. Don't quote me. But I think that is even now more evident. Well, even after that, when she went on to Humble Brag podcast with Cynthia and what's her name? Cynthia and Cynthia and the lady that she do the podcast with. She basically said that, yes, she was offered to do Traders, but unfortunately her son was going through his health problems, and that's when Andy Cohen reached out then. So we have to realize Andy Cohen hosts the Traders reunion. They were going to see each other eventually. So we got to use our brains and know that things have to play out, and there's a timeline. But now I think it's more clear than ever, and I'm glad that was clarified on both sides from both parties, so we can stop diminishing each other or tearing one down so the other one can get ahead. Same thing with, Nicki stepping out to the United Nations, and Beyonce was just outside with her husband at the Boys Mind tour here in Jersey. And people are discussing her weight. They were discussing Nicki weight. I think these are women that are beautiful. They're in their 40s. They just got both off world tours. They are always expected to be at their perfect weight. They're always expected to be on point, and they did that, and it was clear. Pull up the tour footage. I think now they're probably post-tour and enjoying and living life or even if that's not the case, why does it matter? Post your mama right now. Pull out your phone from wherever you streaming right now for those who is talking and take a picture of your mama and let us see it. It ain't so cool or funny. Like, I don't understand troll pages or fan pages. We got to move past that. But, hey man, it's time to switch it up. It's time to introduce my first guest of the evening today on the Kev Gotti Show episode 2. He may be the only guest. But hey, man, it's time to switch it up. Y'all don't know what time it is. It's time to bring in my guests. I'm going to call my guest on the line. I'm going to call my guest on the line. Just come up on the line. Yo, what's the word, man? So, if y'all don't know, on the line, this is artist and my brother Believe, man. Lee's, what's the word? Hey, man. So, I know we was having an off the record conversation the other day, and I just wanted to kind of bring it here because this is you know, a big talk right now with artists on the come up, artists that's in the game, people that's already made it, like whether they're selling their catalogs, whether they're signing new deals or getting out of deals. So I want to ask you a question, man. I want to know, is it better in 2025 to be signed or to be independent? Okay. Mhm. Right. Okay, so let me ask you this then. You answered it that way, but I want to know where you're at in your span of your career right now. Do you feel like you want to be signed or you want to continue to be independent? Correct, because there's so many different ways you can get like a distribution deal. Like it's so many different things with getting signed. But I think the main focus and what I'm pointing out here because we were talking about Herb. So G Herbo went number one. We went legit, but I was explaining that I heard the song in December of last year, and I heard the song on a private platform that Herb has had since before like Spinrilla. Like I've been knowing Herb since like he was talking about like balling like I'm Kobe, the mixtape on the way. He had been saying it for like 6 years. If you know, you know. Like we finally got the album, and it was what it was. But if you know what I'm saying, like it just dates back to how long I've been following Herb. So Herb always put out like these unreleased songs or samples that are from music that we know will never be clear, right? So when legit went number one, and it was like when I heard it, I knew that it was a smash. When I first seen it, it was on distribution. It was in DSPs. It was around I want to say like March, whenever I was doing a rollout for the tour with the Beyond the Fences thing, and I put it on a video on TikTok. And it was kind of like, people didn't really want to really hip to what it was, but then throughout the summer, towards late summer, like May and June, it became this international smash and it went number one. So I want to know, how do you pick that number one, or how do you know what unreleased music to put out? Like, how do you know what's going to take, or is it just a chance of throwing the dice, or how do you feel like that? Do you feel like you reach for a radio record, you reach for a number one, or you just simply doing music? Right.
that I know if I drop them today or tomorrow, they're hits.
Facts.
And it's not on my saying; it's on the people saying. Every time I play these records, people, why is not out? When is coming out? You know, one of those things. A lot of
I got a
times,
couple that I want to know why they not out yet.
yeah, I know. I already know what the number one song is that you're gonna ask about, and the song is Tonight.
Literally, like I don't. That's one of your biggest records, but I think
I feel
as
like
the
as an artist,
when it's gonna be that time.
so like like when it's kind of like when you have something so precious and you don't want to mistreat it.
Right.
There are projects that I put out. There are songs that I put out, and I didn't put my best foot forward with promoting them or marketing them the way that they needed to be marketed.
Right. Right.
But they were still solid songs.
Quality
They
songs.
were
Yes.
go as far as I would have wanted them to go. They went far, but they didn't go as far as I knew that they could have gone.
Right.
That's the reason why a lot of my records, I'd be scared to put them out,
And I think
especially hits.
that's the biggest thing with me and I think with you because I think what it is with us, we've been pushing ourselves. We've been at this for a while, like, but it take like anybody will tell you it take 10 years to build a successful business and get anything started off the ground. But we've been at it for a while, like since before the 2020s, we've been at it, like, and
I'm sure.
we know how much time and money and energy we've really spent and put into this. So when it comes to certain projects or certain songs, in your case, I feel like we know when we want to put that out. And I think people that's just now coming along or just now following us or catching wind of us look at it from an aspect that, oh, they're not consistent. Oh, they not, they don't drop as much. But it's totally not the case. It goes back to what you said, to the point of, hey, I'm not finna keep putting out quality work for it to not necessarily flop, but it's not getting the notoriety that it needs based off of the position that one, that the person is probably in at that time, or two, just off the traction that it didn't catch. So it's always a gamble between that. So I definitely get what you're saying. But in the words of projects, I seen that you put out, you're dropping Westwood next month.
Yeah,
So talk to me a little bit about that, because I know you gotta go. So talk to me a little bit about Westwood, and we're gonna get you out of here, man.
yeah. Westwood is more so a feeling for me. When I hear the word Westwood, I think of trees. I think of being in the mountains. I think of just being like nightlife, but more so like a more cozy feeling.
Okay.
And that's what I'm going for with this project. I feel as though that the people would definitely love it, due to the fact that um, all of my records are definitely close to my heart, and they're like 100% authentic. And these are real thoughts, feelings, and different things that I feel. But I know for a fact that the people are going to gravitate towards it. That it needs to be gravitated towards, due to the fact that I got really, 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 really vulnerable. Um, as I do with some of my songs, but these are gonna hit a little more harder, because there are things that, even as a man, that it's hard for men to say,
Right.
but we think it, or we'll talk to one of our homies about it and stuff like that. A lot of times I've always had songs that I tend to make music for the females, which that's my audience, but I feel as though that this one here is going to be more universal, because I feel like men can relate to 100% of what I'm saying also. So it'll hit both parties, and it'll I feel like it'll really bring people together for that cozy, warm feeling that we all want. Of course, we have the sad songs. Of course, you got the good songs on there. I got the make up to break up songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have, I feel as though that this is, I'm from New Orleans, so the best part of, to call this is like a gumbo. This is a gumbo.
Mix
But
everything. It's something for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Feel it. I feel it, man. So do we have a date for Westwood yet, or is it just we just locking in with December?
Well, I'm locking in. You've heard it here first. 12/3. It will be out.
December 3rd, man. It's a lot of things going on December 3rd. It's a lot of things. But hey, man, Lees, I want to shout out to you for coming on the show, man. You already know what it is. It's Lees on the show. Y'all not calling Lees, but Artist Baleeve. Check out Westwood, music out. And I just want to make it known that I said something earlier about no good music being out, but it's a lot of people that has music out, including this R&B artist here, along with a couple others, Giveon, Quee. Like, it's certain people that still holding the pocket down, and I feel like Baleeve is one of those artists that's still holding the pocket down of true R&B. So y'all need to tap me in. I'll put information here, man. Baleeve, shout out to you for coming on the show. I'm gonna hit you up offline, man, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish the show, and I'm gonna holler at you later, man. Appreciate you.
Sure, you have a good show, man.
All right, bro. Love. All right, so we got my boy Lee's in here. Y'all need to check out Baleeve and put his information here. You know, great artist. Like I said, we've been at it for so long. We live so many lives that people oftentimes come along and catch on to you at different points in your career, and they don't even know your resume about the past things that you've done. And it do feel like a slap in the face or a waste of content or a waste of, you know, a project because people didn't see it. And when you're somebody that moves so consistently, you don't want to keep resharing or reposting old work. But that's something that we got to get out of the way of fucking doing. Like, we got to push ourselves until it's where we think it should be. Like, even with episode 1 of the Gotti show, I went out in the streets of New York. I put posters and everything around the city, vlogged it, put it up on my YouTube, and I took it down. Because I was like, oh, I want the stuff to focus on episode 1. I want to do this, that, and the third. No. Put out your work. They will catch it when they catch it. The people that didn't see episode 1, they may see episode 2 and now go back and see episode 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just got to keep going. And I'm doing that, and I'm learning to live in the moment and not so much on getting to the next moment. I'm living in this moment, in this current moment. So, man, moving right along, we're getting ready to wrap up the show. It's been a great show today, but there is a couple more things that I want to holler at y'all about. You know, today was definitely a thick show. We got into some things, man. We got into some things. But I want to lead with this. I always leave y'all with something. I try not to call it the main topic because that's what main topic was, thing gonna be on the fences. But I want to leave, I call it leaving y'all with something. So this part of the video, I want to just point out that you never know who's watching you. You never know the reach that your work has. Though you may not get the applause, though you may not get the recognition, though you may not get the flowers or feel the love that you think you should receive or you deserve, just know that there's always somebody out there seeing your work. Know that your time will come. If it's truly your gift and it's what you're meant to do, everything is going to happen in this divine time. And going back to a thing that I said, where you never know who's watching you, that's not in a bad thing. That's not like in a negative way, because I know it's like, monetary spirits, this, that, and the third. When I say that, I mean, like, when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to inspiring others. I oftentimes see things and I'd be like, okay, this person, they saw me or they was inspired. Though they may not have said nothing, I know and they know what the reference track is. So I just want to make it known that Gotti is exactly who the fuck I think I am. Like, I'm tired of standing in a way and letting people feel like they could just come trample over me because of my age and the disconnect there. I'm qualified to do the job. I will do the job. This is episode 2 of the Gotti Show. Loud, live, and in color from New York City. Man, look, all right, so y'all already know what week it is. It's November the 23rd. It's Sunday, November the 23rd. So you know what this week is coming up. It is Thanksgiving. I seen a post that said, if you are single or you have no kids, just stay home this year. Don't go home to your family. And I think it's so funny that we all generally, as us, and I'm sure other people go through it, but just the way that we get online and explain it and it just be so spot on with the next, it's just like, it's hilarious. But it's just so funny that we all relate to it in that way. But it's like, what is the obsession with family members having with being in your business, like your sexual business, like who you sleeping with, who you doing, like why you ain't got kids or why this is not the case? I think that we have come so much further than reproducing children through poverty, reproducing children just because we have to. People, this is not the, sorry to say it, 70s, 80s, and 90s. You know, hell, not even the 2000s anymore. Next year will be 2026. I know that COVID made it feel like time has just time capsuled us, but we're going into year 2026. You have to understand that the things that were the norm from your parents, like let's just say for instance, my grandparents' parents, they were born in the 1920s, the 1930s, the 40s. The way and things that they were going through then, it's not the same now. So it's not gonna be soon as somebody turned 20 or 21, 22, 23, 24, they having babies. People are now waiting to their 30s and 40s to have kids. You know, there's a thing where females are now going to freeze their eggs when they're waiting till they get ready. They can even have babies without men these days. So I think that we have to stop putting it off as there's something wrong or they're hiding something or their sexuality. What is it? Because they haven't brought no female or no male home or they haven't had no kids or, you know, hey, sometimes those things are in question. But in some cases, know that people are not going to reproduce in poverty. And that's me speaking too. And I didn't grow up missing things or without, but I know the life that I want my children to have if I decide to have kids or when I decide to have kids. Now, my ex can tell y'all, I've always said that I wanted kids in my 40s, like date back to my ex-girlfriend in high school. I've always said I wanted kids in my 40s. Like, I feel like that's going to give me something to live for on the other side. Like, let me figure this part out. That way I can provide the life that I want them to have. Like, what's the biggie? Like, I understand you may want grandkids, this, that, and the third, or you may want great grands or this, that, and the, but hey, look, I'm sure you got other ones running around. But then when people do pop out kids, y'all not even helping as a village no more. The grandmamas don't want to go out. The grandmamas don't want to keep the babies. They don't even want to call them grandmama these days. So I think it's funny that we attack people and get into their personal business or wonder why they ain't got kids, this, that, and the third. But when it's that time, the village is not even present. So, hey, Thanksgiving is this week. Y'all stay safe. Don't get into a fight with your messy auntie. Don't have to cuss out your drunk uncle. Just really stay home if you can. Create your own circle because I know how it is. I now create my own circle, but this Thanksgiving I will be working. You guys can now find me as of December 3rd. Shout out to Lee's dropping on December 3rd. I'm going live from Great Big Game Show in New York City on December 3rd. I know that you guys seen the last vlog and the last clip was me hosting my first test game with real people from a large publication here in New York. And do I want to say the name? I would just say the largest magazine publication, and not even a magazine, the largest news publication came into my store and I did a test game for them. It went great. And, you know, that's the Great Big Game Show in Times Square. So you guys can find me there live officially on December 3rd. You can request me by name. They know who Kev Gotti is. So if you're booking, request Kev Gotti. If you come through, you may catch me around. I may can come grab you. But yeah, you should definitely check out Great Big Game Show. Bring your family, bring your friends. If you've ever wanted to experience being on a live game show, you know, come through and see us. glad to be a part of this company, and I'm forever grateful to be here from day one of the launch. So, come see your boy Gotti. That's what's going on new in my world. I know y'all probably seen it. I was like, well, what's going on? What is he doing? So there's a live game show. It's in a studio. There's lights. It is recorded, but it will not be televised. Now, I can get you your clips and put them on social media. You can do all of that in your YouTube reels, whatever you want to do. I can get that for you. But yeah, man, come out, have a great time. It's in Times Square, so you already know the vibes. It's your boy Gotti. This has been another great episode, and I can't wait to see y'all soon. It will be, like I say, a quicker turnaround next time. Sorry for the month delay, but it was my birthday, and getting acclimated with everything. But hey, we are here. Episode 2 is down, and now we can only do is go forward. I appreciate you for watching. Like, I really, really, really appreciate everybody for watching, and thank you. One more thing before I close. Let me make this clear. If you are an ex of mine, and I don't have many exes, my last relationship ended November of 2022. I've been single since 2022. I've been single since November of 2022. So, yes, I may have dated people that ain't a relationship. I've been single since November of 2022. I don't spin the block on shit. I play a long game. I personally, in adult life, have never been broken up with. And even back then, I don't think I was broken up with, but I ain't talking about that. That don't matter. I'm talking about adult life. And I want to clarify because I know that I have exes from back then that still follow me. I don't want no. I'm talking about present day, adulthood, adult life. I've never been broken up with. So it's me always leaving. So I don't know if the impression of if I shoot you a text because it's a slow night, don't you ever in your fucking life think that I'm trying to spin a block or rekindle anything with you. Don't be in your motherfucking group chats lying, because that's not the case. Kev Gotti don't spin a block on shit. If I left you, I left you. Now I am Chucky, and I play tag, and you it for life. It's the Kev Gotti Show, man. We are out.